also have another page open. Now this other page is simply a page that I have with some tools on it that I normally use. It's sort of hard to see. There's just URLs here. Let me go ahead and turn on my live view so you can see. This is the way that page would look in the browser. But you'll notice that when I click on something here, if I click on it, what happens? That was not a trick question. What happens? Nada. Nothing. Because Dreamweaver isn't... You missed the cue. That was supposed to happen when I said nada. So, when Dreamweaver clicks, or when I click in Dreamweaver, Dreamweaver doesn't know that's a link. Dreamweaver is an editing tool, remember? But didn't I say earlier that Dreamweaver also is the browser? Yes? You remember I said Dreamweaver is the browser? Well, if Dreamweaver is the browser, when you click in a browser, what happens? Yeah, you go to the link. So we have a problem. Actually, maybe we don't. You see, because I'm going to tell Dreamweaver, hey Dreamweaver, when I click on a link, I want you to actually go there. So when I click this, I want you to go to that link. And I do that by simply telling Dreamweaver to follow the link by holding down my Command key on a Mac or Control key on the PC and clicking. Now, if I'm lazy, I simply say, hey, follow links all the time. Don't make me hold down a key, that's too much work. So now, since I made fun of my friends at Microsoft earlier, I'm going to show you that they actually have a neat page with some online tools. So I'm going to click, and we're actually going out on the web to that particular site. And they actually have a really cool tool here called the Gradient Maker. So I'm going to say, let's go to the Gradient Maker. Remember, I'm in Dreamweaver, and yet I'm surfing the web. So I want to make that gradient. So I'm going to say, let's start it in the top left, that's fine. But let's make it be sort of an orange color to start. And then let's make it be sort of a darker reddish color like that. And you see I've got the color here, the gradient. But the cool thing is down here, they've already written all the code for me. So I'm simply going to copy, and then I'm going to go back over into Dreamweaver, back into my CSS, and paste. And now, when we refresh our page, are you ready? Ooh! I have my gradient. Cool? I can use any online tool in Dreamweaver because it is the browser. Right? Now, the last thing I need to do for this circle, though, is I needed to rotate it. So let's do that, because that, too, is part of CSS3. So I'm going to say, let's go back to our CSS. In the very same CSS rule, I'm going to zoom in so you can see it. I'm going to use a new property in CSS3 called transform. There's the transform property. I'm going to say, what would you like to do? Well, you can see we can do a lot of different things here, but the one that I'm interested in is rotate. So I'm going to say, let's rotate this, and let's rotate it 15 degrees. Okay, are you ready to update the page? Okay, we'll update the page. Here we go, the excitement, I can feel it. Here we go. And, oh, nada, nothing. What's wrong? Nothing. I did it perfectly correct. But that's one of the problems with CSS3 and HTML5. It's it's all being developed right now. That means some things just don't work. Well, they do work, but they just don't work officially yet. You see, browser vendors, that's all the makers of the browsers, they are implementing CSS3 and HTML5 over time. They're picking the parts that they think they're ready to put in, and they are putting them in before they might be necessarily finished. The way they're doing this is through something called a vendor-specific prefix, or something that only their browser sees. That's why we had all of these things back up here, these different versions for our gradients. So I'm going to use a vendor-specific prefix for my transformation. So I'm going to zoom back in here so you can see. Vendor-specific prefixes all start with a dash. So I'm going to type a dash. And you can see that Dreamweaver now understands, oh, you want to do something for a particular browser. If I choose one of these, for example, this is Mozilla or Firefox, then Dreamweaver is going to show me all of the things that Firefox has already implemented that may not be finished official CSS3. Or if we back up a little bit, has this ever happened to you? You back up in Dreamweaver and your little code hint thing goes away? Do you know how to get it back? I know what you do. You backspace, backspace, hit return, type it again. Right? No, we don't do that. You see, if you back up and it goes away and you want it back, hold down your control key and hit your space bar. Boink, and it will always pop back up for you. So these are the things that WebKit can do. Or these are the things that Opera can do. Or, oh, look at this. Guess who that is? Even Microsoft is doing it now with IE9 and IE10. In case you did not know, there is an IE10 already on its way. So I want to do something for WebKit because that's what I'm looking at in Dreamweaver. So I'm going to choose WebKit and then that very same transform, and I'll say let's rotate it. And again, we're going to rotate it the same amount, 15 degrees. Now, if this were real life and not just a demonstration, then I would go ahead and put in the Mozilla and the Opera and the Microsoft transforms as well. The important thing is always the real one. The one without a vendor prefix should always be last in the cascade. Okay? In the list of properties, always last with the original one. Okay, so now we can update, and here we go. Can you feel the excitement? Ooh, looking good, huh? Something that would have taken, well, it would have taken an image to do.